good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, July 19th. Thank you so very much for tuning into Good Morning Grenada. Trust you had a restful and peaceful weekend, and trust you're ready to get this work week up and running. Whatever kind of weekend you had, whatever you did over the weekend, I hope it was a beneficial journey. I hope it was successful. I hope it was fruitful. All the good things in life. That's what I hope you had over the weekend. Bless up your whole self. It's been a interesting weekend. Lots have happened over the past 2 days or so. We're going to get into that in the morning edition of news. But in the meantime, gotta hail up all the folks joining us across the various platforms. Those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11, and 20. Good morning to all the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9, and all the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go to Fet Facebook pages. A pleasure. It is a pleasure. We are in the land of the living. Let's give thanks and praises to the Most High, and let's get right into this morning's word of the day. This morning's word of the day is encomium. Encomium. It's spelled E-N-C-O-M-I-U-M. Encomium. It is a noun which means a formal expression of high praise. Did I say it's a noun? Yes, it's a noun. Encomium. Encomium, a formal expression of high praise, comes via Latin, which also comes from Greek, a laudatory ode for a conqueror, a eulogy for a living person. Encomium, E-N-K-O-M-I-O-N, is composed of the preposition and prefix en, which means in, and komos, which means revel-making, carousel, company of men participating in procession and celebration. The further etymology of komos, K-O-M-O-S, the further etymology of komos is disputed. The word appears as the first element in the commodiole, which means revel singers, from which the noun is a humorous spectacle. Encomium entered English in the second half of the 16th century. Word of the day this morning, encomium, E-N-C-O-M-I-U-M. It is a noun which means a formal expression of high praise. An example of the use of the word: since Mr. Trebek announced his diagnosis, his admirers have flooded the internet and elsewhere with encomiums. Another example of the use of the word: the latter film took a British miniseries that cast a frequently scathing eye upon newspapering and turned it into an encomium for the great American investigative reporter. Word of the day this morning, encomium, E-N-C-O-M-I-U-M. It's a noun which means a formal expression of high praise. Heaping praises on somebody, giving somebody their, as the latest saying goes, giving somebody their flowers while they're alive. Giving them the praises, their kudos, toasting them while they're still alive. A formal expression of high praise, encomium. Word of the day this morning. Double up. And as you go about your marvelous Monday, the thought for today, I like the thought of today. The thought for today is, as you go about your day, don't underestimate the power of a smile, a kind word, or a kind deed. You could be the beam of light needed in someone's difficult day. As you go about your day, don't underestimate the power of a smile, a kind word, or a kind deed. You could be the beam of light needed in someone's difficult day. You never know what somebody's going through, whether it's a friend, family member, a customer, somebody you're seeing on the road, on the streets, on the sidewalk, in a store. You just never know what they're going through. So you can be that person that can lighten up their day, that can spread cheer, spread joy. Just a kind word. Miss, you look nice today. Hello, sir, I like the color of your tie. Them kind of thing. Just be the nice person to let them smile. Somebody going through it, give them a little joke, give them a little encouragement. Be that person that can help brighten someone's day. As you go about your day, don't underestimate the power of a smile, a kind word, or a kind deed. You could be the light, or you could be the beam of light needed in someone's difficult day. All right, so go out there and smile for people. Somebody you probably don't even know. You're passing them on the road, just give me a nice little grin, you know what I'm saying? A kind word, a kind deed. Pick up something for somebody. They throw down their keys, pick it up. They throw down the dollar, pick it up and give it back to them. The operative words here, give it back to them. Don't pick it up and keep it. But be that beam of light today. A smile, a kind word, or a kind deed. All right, let's see what is celebrated today. Today it is another thing that I love to celebrate, and I want to share it with you. Today it is Global Hug Your Kids Day. Global Hug Your Kids Day. This day is celebrated on the third Monday of every July. The day celebrates the bond between parents and children. The purpose of this day is simple. Hug your children to express how much you love them. Hugging is a simple act of reassuring comfort, safety, and trust. Everyone can do with a hug, especially children. And when you hug your kids, you'll realize that it makes them happy, and you too. A natural expression of love and a stress reliever. Don't forget to wrap your kids in a bear hug today. Global Hug Your Kids Day. Give your son, your daughter an individual hug, and then have a little group hug. Hug Your Kids Day. Sometimes we don't show them as much emotion as we would like when the day gets busy. We ensure they have something to eat, something to wear, a roof over their head, but sometimes the love gets pushed by the wayside. So it's Global Hug Your Kids Day, and if you're a usual hugger, extra hugs today. Hug your children this morning before you leave home, later when you come home, today when you see them, whatever they're doing, just grab them and hug them. Whether it's individually and or group hugs, Global Hug Your Kids Day, ensure that you celebrate today. Find them wherever they are, whatever they're doing, give them at least, today is the 19th, give them at least 19 hugs today. At least 19 hugs today. That's how we're going to celebrate Hug Your Kids Day. So start counting from now. All right, let me go. Hug number 1. I see people hugging. I can see them in mine. I see people hugging. Bless up all yourself. All right. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. So this week, on Friday to be specific, the 2020 Tokyo Games, aka 2021 Tokyo Games, Olympic Games, starts in Tokyo, Japan from Friday. Grenada is sending a 6-member team to Tokyo for the Olympics. So this week, what we're going to do, we are going to feature each individual athlete so that you can get better acquainted with who they are, the event they're participating in, and some of their accomplishments leading up to the Tokyo Games. Want to say good morning and thank you to Uncle Jasper for the idea. Bless up your whole self. All right, so this morning we're going to start the series featuring our Olympians, and of course we're going to start with Grenada's most decorated Olympic athlete, Kirani James, our gold and silver medalist, as we get ready to witness all the splendor of the Tokyo Games, featuring our local artists. And then we're going to get straight into the morning edition of news and week in review. It's Good Morning Grenada on a marvelous Monday. Stick and stay. We'll be right back. The 2012 Games in London, Kirani James won Grenada's first gold medal at the Olympic Games with a time of 43.94 seconds in the 400-meter event, becoming the first sprinter from outside the United States to break the 44-second mark. 4 years later, in Rio 2016, James won the island's second Olympic award after finishing second in the 400-meter final. He has taken a significant amount of time away from sprinting since being diagnosed with Graves' disease in 2017, an autoimmune disorder. Affectionately called the Jaguar, Kirani is now back on track to pursue his dreams after a full recovery from the illness, coming out in winning form during the Diamond League season, including a season's best of 44.63 seconds in early July in Stockholm. At the ripe age of 28 years old, for a track star that is, can Grenada's most decorated Olympian ever add to his medal count?
Follow the summer heat as our double Olympic 400-meter medalist, Kirani James, world javelin champion, Anderson Peters, our Melanie Rodney, Lyndon Victor, joined forces with swimmers, Kimberly Ince and Delwan Felix in the pursuit of the ultimate dream, Olympic gold and glory. Follow every race, every throw, and splash in the pool. Live on GBN television from Friday, July 23rd to Sunday, August 8th. It's the Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo. The dream continues.
Bail was denied for Lawrence Bell, who made his first court appearance on Monday at the St. George's Magistrates Court, charged with alleged incest.
All charges brought against Lawrence Bell are indictable. 18 counts of sexual charges were laid against the 54-year-old pharmacy inspector of Malmont St. David, 9 incest, 5 sexual assaults, and 5 indecent assault charges. Bell appeared before the St. George's Magistrate Court Monday morning, however was not able to secure bail and was remanded to Her Majesty's Prison until Thursday, July 15th. Representing attorney Anselm Clouden spoke with the media following his client's court appearance.
Now, the prosecution was unprepared today. They hadn't supplied me with any disclosure. They hadn't supplied the court with any documentation, so that the magistrate had nothing before him. As a consequence, the prosecution moved the court to have the matter transferred to St. David's, its rightful place. The difficulty with that is the magistrate of St. David's is on vacation. Now they have undertaken to try to get her to sit on Thursday.
What transpired today, Clouden says, is unacceptable. He explained the penalty for those charges brought against his client.
A maximum from 14 to 30 years. Some of these charges date back to 2009. It continues to 2021. A series of offenses: indecent assault, carnal knowledge, and on the 176F, penetration by some bodily organ.
The attorney is looking for a speedy resolve to this matter.
The defendant was detained since Wednesday. I'm hoping and praying that come Thursday we can have our application heard either before the St. David's magistrate or it be brought back, as the magistrate here says, before him to be adjudicated upon. I think personally sometimes people rush to conclusions when in fact there is no factual background for a lot of these allegations.
Christina John, GBN News.
On his second court appearance, Lawrence Bell is placed on $150,000 bail with 2 sureties. Bell faces 18 counts of alleged sexually related offenses, 9 incest, 5 sexual assaults, and 4 indecent assaults. Representing attorney Anselm Clouden explained Bell's bail conditions.
He was successful today in being admitted to bail in the sum of $150,000 with 2 sureties. He's to report every Wednesday to the St. David's police station. He's not to interfere with witnesses. He's to stay away from the victim and all those who are closely related to the victim. He cannot communicate with third parties that can communicate with the victim, or else he'd be brought back and bail would be revoked. So
Bell is due back in court on October the 16th. Stakeholders met Thursday to discuss the way forward with the Sex Offenders Registry Bill. The consultation was organized by the Ministry of Social Development and Housing. We get the details in this report.
Over the last couple of months, the number of reported cases of sexual offences has been steadily increasing. During the months January 2020 to July 2021, 38 sexual offences were completed by the court with 23 convictions and 8 acquittals. In April of this year, 204 reports and cases were brought before the criminal assizes, of which 88 were sexual offence cases. According to Attorney General Dia Forrester, we do have a sex crime issue in Grenada that must be addressed.
We do have a sex crimes issue in Grenada, and we must tackle that issue in a direct manner. So the advent of the National Sex Offenders Registry Bill is one of the measures being used to assist with that process of tackling sex crimes in our country. The bill is aimed at deterring, punishing, and shaming rapists, pedophilias, and those others with a propensity to commit sexual crimes. The bill is also aimed at ensuring members of the public are aware of who are offenders living amongst us, so that members of the public are better able to protect themselves.
The bill forms part of the legislative agenda of the Ministry of Legal Affairs and the Attorney General Chambers for 2021. This bill seeks to deter potential sex offenders from committing registerable offences and to keep the public informed of the presence of sex offenders in their communities.
A comprehensive register that is accessible only by the Commissioner of Police, and a second register that members of the public may inspect. The intended registers would be in the control and custody of the Commissioner of Police, providing the parameters for the police force to effectively monitor registered sex offenders and facilitate the Commissioner assessing the likelihood of that individual endangering their community and people with whom they interact with frequently.
Minister for Social Development and Housing, Delma Thomas, addressed the issue.
We have a responsibility. The responsibility is not only with the Ministry of Social Development, the SVU, and the police force. When you commit sexual offense on children, you are killing them. You are really killing them. You're destroying them for life. They are broken after. And you can't repair those brokenness. And therefore, we have to look at this crime, as a scourge, as an evil spirit.
Legal Affairs Minister Kendra Maturin Stewart explained that under the bill, registered offenders will be required to report to the police station once every 6 months. Failure to adhere can result to a fine of $10,000 and or 2 years imprisonment. Failure to comply with reporting to the police station every 6 months is a summary offense, punishable by $5,000 or 12 months behind bars. Chrislina John, GBN News.
As cases of sexual crimes continue to rise, government is inching closer to the establishment of a sex offenders registry. However, one budding politician is recommending instant incarceration of perpetrators as a more viable alternative. Chrislina John has the details.
Nobody knows how to protect him or herself from a predator, let alone children. Like, what are children supposed to do? What are parents supposed to do? How do you prevent your child from crossing paths with such a person? Because these people are going to go out there and have jobs. How do you stop them from interacting with your children? Nobody understands the strategies used by perverts.
Public Relations Officer of the Progressive Party, Rosemary Rajwant, does not see the establishment of a sex offenders registry as a sensible move.
Like, it's an insult to the many survivors. I feel like what's being communicated to the many victims and survivors and potential victims is that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this issue, and at the end of all our talks, the most you can hope for is that we give perpetrators fame. Because I don't know if the intention is to name and shame, but naming and shaming only works for people who actually have shame.
Rajwant believes the court system should be more stringent dealing with perpetrators.
Perpetrators are being given a slap on the wrist and they're being released on bail. I really do not think that anyone accused of harming a minor sexually should be released on bail. It should require instant incarceration. Of course, if such person is found to be innocent, then he or she should be compensated by the state and by the victims for being wrongfully accused. But I'm just saying, we need to call out child sexual abuse for the heinous crime that it is, and not busy ourselves with talking about publishing a list of pedophiles.
Keeping victims safe once the crime is reported should be priority, she says. Victims, she adds, should not have to cross paths with perpetrators since they have the potential to harm them further once they are exposed.
I recommend looking into what exactly happens when a crime is reported. I feel like even the victims who come forward and speak out and report crimes, the legal system really does drag its feet. People would be safe if they didn't have to cross paths with the perpetrators, because a lot of times these perpetrators live within the vicinity of the children and they're dangerous.
Consultations on the Sex Offenders Registry Bill has begun. The bill, which forms part of the legislative agenda of the Ministry of Legal Affairs and the Attorney General's Chamber for 2021, seeks to deter potential sex offenders from committing registerable offenses and to keep the public informed of the presence of sex offenders in their communities. Chrislina John, GBN News.
It was a mix of the young, the middle-aged, and elderly of public sector workers, current and retired, through the streets of St. George onto the Tantin playing field. The match began with a procession in the vicinity of the National Stadium, which then led to dozens of public servants crowding the stands for ensuing rally. We get more in this report.
The hearing for the restoration of pension for public sector workers is just hours away, and the unions brought a deeper awareness to the struggle. Retirees and current public workers took to the streets as part of the week of activities to highlight the pension issue. The case of Humlin Armstrong was prominent, as like in her case, many public servants are being left without a pension. Government has maintained that it will await the outcome of the court matter and will be guided accordingly. Kenny James, former GUT president, expounded on the significance of Wednesday's march and rally.
There are those of you sitting here whose name is already documented in history because your salaries, our salaries, were docked for this purpose.
James noted the fight against the 1983 Pension Disqualification Act continues despite the 38-year-old struggle for the 1958 pension.
They took that money and you're here today to march a second time. Now what that says to you is our money is important. But when we're not getting our monies, our fight is even more important.
The former GUT president likened the pension dispute to a crime against humanity.
What we want the world to understand is that there is an issue that tantamounts to being the greatest socio-economic genocide that this country has ever faced, which is the depriving of public officers of a pension and gratuity.
He says the reality is many public workers, after giving years of service to the country, have had to resort to other subsistent forms of earning a living.
For us, as public officers and public servants, our arrangement is etched in our Constitution. And our arrangement says that our pension and gratuity must be charged on Mr. Consolidated Fund.
Several of the colleague unions, as well as members of the Grenada movement and the National Democratic Congress, were present in the march and rally. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Meanwhile, public officers will have to wait for at least a few more months to find out their fate as it relates to pension. We get more from Gerard Joseph.
Lawyers representing public sector unions are hopeful for a judgment before year's end. Attorneys at law James Bristol, Ruggles Ferguson and Cajetan Hood represented the public sector unions in the historic pension matter on Thursday. Speaking with GBN post-hearing, James Bristol says both sides were invited to write their closing submissions by October 29th and believes a written judgment will come in short order.
I would expect it certainly before the end of the year, and I would like to think it's there before the end of November, because the judge has already our submissions, which he read because he understood the case, and he just wants us to summarize our positions really as we articulated in person today.
He explains the reason for the lapse in time for the written submissions is because the court is due to close at the end of July.
I don't really see how the court can get around the McQueen case, being it's a Court of Appeal decision which declared the law to be, as it stated therein, that is the Pension Act, Chapter 233, which applies, and the other associated acts. We have prison officers, police, and we have teachers. That these are the acts, the original laws are the ones that apply, and we would like that upheld, or followed rather, and if the government wants to appeal, well, that will be a matter for them.
Bristol says the Attorney General representing government put forward that NIS is a pension and the McQueen case is not applicable. The attorneys for the public sector unions presented a constitutional motion on their position in regard to the pension law to be applied for public officers who joined the service after April 4th, 1983.
To put our position that, relying on the case of McQueen and Chief Justice Byron, as he then was, that the National Insurance Act never introduced a new pension scheme for public officers, in particular, as it was supposed to do. And therefore, based on the McQueen decision, the original Pension Act applies. And given that the old Pension Act applies, the Pension Disqualification Act couldn't take away that pension.
Government maintains it will await the outcome of the court matter and will be guided accordingly. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
The Progress Party, which emerged in 2017, is seeking to make a return at the next general elections, which is constitutionally due in 2023. However, the Progress Party says this time around, it's all about collaboration and establishing communication rather than competing with like-minded political parties. Gerard Joseph has that story.
Using country size as a main determining factor, there have been suggestions for a merger or coalition among the opposing political parties at the next general elections. The New National Party, NNP, has taken clean sweeps at the last two consecutive elections, with opposing parties unable to capture any of the 15 seats. Rosemary Wajwant, PRO for the Progressive Party, confirms to GBN that a coalition may be possible.
The talks are ongoing, and I'll be very honest with the public about that. There are talks ongoing between the Progress Party, NDC, and TGM at the moment.
Rajwan says despite exchanging contacts, the Progressive Party are not in official discussions with GULP.
So, it's all friendly and civil at this point, and hopefully we'd be able to put our heads together and really offer the public, a solid alternative rather than have separate people just trying to compete with each other rather than focusing on the needs of the electorate.
She says the Progress Party is led by an 8-member executive and consists of Kerry Valone Simmons as political leader, Deputy Leader Basil Williams, and Dr. Rick Duncan as treasurer. GBN sought confirmations from the named entities in the collaboration. TGM Chairman Dr. Patrick Antoine, however, notes that he is not aware of any such collaboration among the political parties. Whilst neither confirming nor denying a joint venture, NDC PRO Claudette Joseph says they are open to discussions with all organizations or individuals who are interested in the development of Grenada. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Samson is the daughter of a farmer from Black Bay St. John who uses ground provision to make flour. The mother and wife started the initiative just for her family, but decided to make it into a small business while taking advantage of promoting healthy eating. Rena Pierre Thomas has this story.
Walking into our studio this morning was Miss Gerald Sampson, the producer of The Farmer's Daughter. And this unique brand, we're going to hear all about it and what exactly is The Farmer's Daughter. So Gerald, tell us a little bit about your product first.
So my product idea came about because I am originally the farmer's daughter, not only in the name of the brand, but also because I am a daughter of a son of the soil who has been doing gardening for over 40 years. And I used to always see my father come home and have a lot of produce, sometimes things that are not sold, and some of them would spoil. So I think the best thing would have been, of course, to find a way that we can save the produce as well as maximize the usage of it, so you have less waste. And I came up with The Farmer's Daughter. The Farmer's Daughter is a range of 9 different types of flowers. All of them are local, all of them are from ground provision, except for corn. So we have 9 in all. And there are no preservatives in them, no anti-kicking agents. So persons can feel safe in utilizing products from this range.
And tell me, what are your flower made out of? Tell me the different products.
Okay, so what I'm holding right now is Yummy Yum. So we have Yummy Yum. We have Glorious Green Banana. We also have Blessed Breadfruit. We have Captivating Cassava. We have Classic Corn. We also have Perfect Plantain. We have Tasty Tanya. We have Delicious Dasheen. And we also have Satisfying Sweet Potato.
And you make flour out
of all of these products. So for persons who are on a gluten-free diet, this is perfect for you because most of our ground provisions don't contain gluten. As a matter of fact, if you want to make regular bread, because you can use it to make bread, cake, dumpling, porridge, whatever. If you're looking for that same texture that you get with regular bread, you'll of course add it to your regular all-purpose flour.
So tell me, where can people find your product? I mean, you're launching today, it's your first day, but what are your plans? What are your dreams? What do you want?
Okay, so hopefully I'm wishing that all of the supermarkets will be willing to carry The Farmer's Daughter, as well as the Marketing and National Importing Board, because I also want that the product reaches Carriacou. Our trial and state. In the sky's the limit. We don't know where it's going to head to. God is in charge of this venture, and I'm interested to see where he's going to take me with it. As a matter of fact, right now, I'm actually waiting to receive my certificates from the Bureau of Standards as it concerns the label.
How can persons contact you?
Okay, so I can be contacted at 536-0860 for persons who are willing to make orders.
You can also contact Ms. Sampson on her Facebook page, The Farmer's Daughter. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
The Ministry of Health has implemented 2 new travel protocols for visitors and returning nationals, as we hear in this Rena Pett Thomas report.
As of the 31st of July, Grenada will not be accepting visitors traveling by sea or by air who are not fully vaccinated into the island. This was announced by Minister for Health Nickoli on Tuesday, as he informed the nation of 2 new measures that will be implemented within the country's travel protocols.
The other measure, which takes effect from the 31st of July, is that outside of citizens and residents of Grenada, no one is allowed to enter Grenada unless they are fully vaccinated. So citizens and residents can return to Grenada, whether vaccinated or unvaccinated. But any visitor to Grenada must be fully vaccinated from the 31st of July. We have given, we hope, enough notice for individuals. We do apologize for any inconvenience that this may bring to persons.
This does not apply to returning nationals, anyone who is a citizen or has residence in Grenada. Also, with immediate effect, the Ministry of Health will be allowing fully vaccinated families who are traveling with children the luxury of a 48-hour quarantine period.
First is effective immediately. Persons 13 years and under traveling with a fully vaccinated party will be treated like that party as fully vaccinated with respect to quarantine. So if you're traveling with children 13 and under, and you and everyone else in the travel party of age is fully vaccinated, then the entire party will only have to do 48 hours quarantine.
The minister explained that his ministry has already held consultations with the Grenada Tourism Authority and the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association on the matter. He also highlighted that some of these restrictions should already be lifted.
These restrictive measures should not have to continue. We should be looking at further easement of these measures because we should be at a level where our population is protected by utilizing all of the tools. So I urge all of you who have not yet taken the vaccine to please come forward. Take the vaccine, inquire with the Ministry of Health to get whatever information is relevant to that. Do not follow disinformation.
Seabourn, a cruise line based in Barbados, is expected later this month. This will be the first cruise ship to dock in Grenada since the COVID-19 lockdown in March 2020. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear Thomas reporting.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing Color by Sissons. 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 Color by Sissons.
Hi, darling. Are you still working on that article to help customers better understand their Grenlec bill?
Yes. Have a look. The left side shows the electricity rates and government charges. The middle has your present usage and 8-month usage history. And the right side shows all your charges.
What about the fuel and non-fuel charge?
Good question. The fuel charge is the cost of fuel to generate your electricity. The non-fuel charge is the cost of delivering electricity to your home and any other necessary services.
And VAT?
You pay 15% on the non-fuel portion of any usage over 99 units.
How much is the environmental levy that Grenlec collects for Solid Waste Management Authority?
This charge on domestic customers is $5 or $10, depending on your usage. So, add the fuel, non-fuel, VAT, and the environmental levy, and that's your electricity bill.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
herbs and herbal supplements? Or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Fallage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Get Rubigas. Get cooking. Rubigas, clean, safe, and reliable LPG is the perfect solution for your commercial and everyday needs. For cooking at home or barbecuing, choose Rubigas LPG cylinders. Available in a variety of sizes from 20 to 100 pound cylinders. Rubigas LPG, clean, safe, reliable. Are you cooking with Rubigas?
Get Rubis, get going. Feel good tax.
Remember, if you have flu symptoms, do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up and take it easy.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
5 things you need to know about self-isolation.
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. Thank you so very much for staying with us. Those of you who stuck with us, thank you for your patience. And those of you who are just joining us, happy to have you. Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. It is a pleasure. It is now 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's get into this morning's discussion. I have joining me virtually, of course, our two representatives of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. I have the Public Relations Officer, Ms. Myrna Julian, and the Assistant Public Relations Officer, Nickoli Boyke. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Blossom.
Good morning, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. It's happy to have you both this morning, and we are talking about something of national importance. The operative word here is importance. The Solid Waste Management is organizing or has organized a solid waste cleanup, an island-wide cleanup campaign that is scheduled to take place over the period of 2 days this week, July 22nd to the 24th. So first, let's start with some of the basic information. Why did Solid Waste see it necessary to establish or to get underway a national cleanup?
Okay, the authority, we have been assessing our services and the response that we have been getting from our population. And whereas we have been having good collaboration in terms of the disposal of regular household waste, that is a collection service you get at least twice per week in your community, we do believe that we have some challenges as they relate to compliance to the procedures for the disposal of white goods and bulky items, and even reluctance on the parts of some householders especially to use the collection service. And so based on our assessment of what we're seeing in some communities, and based on feedback that we are getting from the Ministry of Health, especially when it comes to vector control and the vector control officers, doing the household inspections, etc., we have been observing that quite a lot of our residents, they're holding on to quite a lot of bulky items around the homes, and this leads to quite a number of concerns, basically public health concerns. And, right now we're into the rainy season, and with it, once you have these items out, they can result in the breeding of mosquitoes, and where you have clusters of, small bits of lumber, and you have broken up utensils and so on out there, and they're in clusters around your home. You'd also have the breeding of other vermin, rats, and so on. So we also have the concerns as they relate to, apart from the dengue fever, leptospirosis by rats. And the other issue has to do with us currently being in the rainy season, of course, the hurricane season. And once you have these vessels and these items outside, the potential for these items to become airborne during gusty, windy conditions. So we're praying that we do not have a storm or hurricane of a nature that would cause destruction. So we're trying to mitigate at this time and trying to work along with our residents throughout Grenada to help us to address these concerns. Hence, this operation, and hence our reaching out at this time to encourage householders to make use of this service. It is something that is offered throughout the year, but we do not think that is adequately used. And we see this especially during the Christmas season, when our systems are overburdened with demands for the removal of these items. And, it's quite a challenge on our contractors. And we want to encourage, after this exercise, it's not something that we want to do every year or every 6 months, but that our citizens would understand that there is a service, a free service that we offer to all householders throughout Grenada that they can use. And you can use that service, every householder, once per month for the disposal of your large items.
So specifically the campaign specifically targets white goods, furniture, I'm watching the flyer, appliances, barrels, damaged utensils, and there may be people who may try to use the opportunity to dispose of other things as well. How strict are you with what you're collecting? And what should homeowners keep in mind as well?
A list of the items and the prohibited items that would qualify for this collection service.
Sorry, say that again?
Good morning.
Oh, Nickoli. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
So good morning again, Blossom.
Morning.
And the viewing public. Right. So the cleanup exercise or cleanup initiative is scheduled to take place this coming Thursday and Friday. And as Ms. Julian rightfully said, we are concerned with the amount of waste that comes into the landfill during the Christmas period, etc. So we are asking at this time for homeowners to look around their immediate surroundings, right? For homeowners, look around your immediate surroundings for items that may be water-bearing, small cans, tins, barrels, drums, and also the bulky items, which will include your white goods, such as your stoves, appliances, your furniture, mattresses, beds, all these items. So we are asking on the 22nd and the 23rd that you place these items out for collection. We will be supervising the areas in the coming days to see where these items are out, and we're hoping to have collection on the 24th, the Saturday. Now, you may have small items such as bits of galvanized, you may have little pieces of lumber, little pieces of pipe to place out. We are saying you can place these items out, but we are not saying to place a bulk of these galvanized derelict vehicles, large construction waste, concrete slabs and all these things. We are not looking at these items. We are more looking at the small items that you have around your property that you can get rid of, that you can bag and get rid of.
The compliance that you are hoping and expecting, how compliant do you think Grenadians, members of the public, will be with this cleanup campaign and actually make the effort to clean up their surroundings?
Okay, based on the feedback so far, we have been receiving numerous phone calls, people calling to ask what they can put out. Even on our Facebook page, you see persons asking questions, just asking a lot of questions. So we expect compliance. Obviously, there may be one or two persons who may want to abuse the system. We are asking again that you apply by the items, the listed items that we just mentioned, and we're expecting for it to be a smooth cleanup exercise on the 22nd and the 23rd.
So it would need to be an individual responsibility. Can groups come together and clean up the surroundings? And exactly where should the items be placed? Should they be placed at the garbage receptacles, or can I place it just in front my yard and the truck just pass the whole street and pick up all?
Okay, we're appealing to the householders, all right? It is for the householders generally. But where you know that there are persons in your community who cannot, of course, get around their homes, under the houses, etc., to remove stuff that has been there in some cases for years, I would hope that we are hoping that there would be volunteers in the communities to assist them. But we have, it's not just the Solid Waste Authority involved, but there are a number of stakeholder bodies that we've approached to ensure that the whole exercise is successful. And we're hoping for their collaboration, their participation. We've had some good responses so far. And so it's not just for the householders, but where you recognize that there is need for help in the community. For example, someone's private property, someone who is not living in Grenada, but you recognize that the person's property is used for the disposal of, old tires or somebody's refrigerator or stove, or small cluster of building material. We are hoping that the community would come together and address this, because we do believe that, yes, we're targeting the householders, but if we need to get rid of the public health concerns, that any instance where you have an accumulation of waste that is going to impact the community, then that community initiative would not be successful. So wherever you know that there are problems in your community, for example, that the ravine, at the back of someone's home has been affected by some period of dumping, and it's affecting your community, this would be the opportunity to have that area cleaned up. You remove the items and you put it on the roadside for the collection service. You asked about placement. Yes, we would like the householders to place their items out on Thursday and Friday of this week. You place it in front of your homes, at least close enough to the roadside so that the collection teams, they can have an appreciation of the quantity of waste that is placed out, to understand how they need to deploy their teams on Saturday for the collection service. Now, in placing your items out, we want you to be mindful that you should not place it in the road, right, or where it would hamper the free movement of pedestrian traffic. So vehicular traffic and pedestrian traffic must be taken into consideration. We know that some of the concerns I had is, in terms of people calling in, is I'm living off the road, in front of the truck does not pass in front of my home, but I'm up the stairs and I have to pass in front of a few of my neighbors to place the item out. We ask for cooperation because it would be a community initiative. If a neighbor continues to keep that old deep freeze or just a TV frame on his property, it would impact the whole community, right? Your neighbor's mosquito and your neighbor's rat is your rat too. And if he is asking permission to just have his old TV set placed in front of on the roadside near to you for just the 2 days, I think that this is something that needs to be encouraged, right? It would not be an inconvenience for quite a long time, just for 48 hours. And we are hoping for good cooperation. As I said, make sure that where you place your items, it is visible to the collection team, but also it does not hamper pedestrian and vehicular traffic.
What about the sister aisles? Are they part of this campaign as well?
Okay, the sister aisles, they're not a part of this campaign because they did a cleanup activity recently. So Carriacou has been ahead of us in terms of this operation.
Any plans to maybe bring it back to them as well? Maybe somebody missed the last time, and even PT Martinique as well.
Yes, in looking at Carriacou for now, I think that Carriacou has done a very fair share of cleanup in terms of doing what is required to free up their homes and communities of the clutter. It wasn't quite a lot in terms of the waste generated from this activity. But we are satisfied that there is good compliance in Carriacou, I must say, to the collection service that is offered for the disposal of white goods and bulky items. Our contractor, I think, has a very good relationship with the members of his community, and I think that they're doing well so far. What we want out of this activity is that after having done this cleanup operation, that here in Grenada, our communities begin to learn who are the contractors. You would appreciate that very recently we made some changes in terms of the division of our collection zones. So there are some new contractors on board. We have established new boundaries. And so our residents throughout Grenada would need to get familiar with who their garbage collection contractors are, establish a good relationship with your garbage collection contractor, and ensure that you are in contact on a regular basis to ensure that you keep your home surroundings clean and, of course, your community. It's all about not just cleaning up, but it is also an education initiative. So coming up tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll take this information to all of Grenada. We're going into every community to appeal for their support. We would be asking that if you have any questions or concerns as to the procedures for using this cleanup operation this week, that you can approach us when we come into your communities with the outside broadcast PA system. So we are still offering an avenue for feedback from members of the public.
Talk to me about the indiscriminate disposal of white goods. It's a pet peeve of mine, the way I see people throw away their white goods. White goods are household appliances, the fridges, the washing machine, microwaves. Some of them just throw it in the nearby garbage. Some people transport it to what they think are the dark sides of the bushes. And so how big of a problem is it the way people dispose of their white goods indiscriminately?
We see it throughout Grenada, and it is of grave concern to us because it is a service we offer free to every householder in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Right? So there is no need for you to put it on, give a mentally disturbed person or some person with a pickup truck to dispose it by the bin. or on the roadside or in a ravine or down some precipice, or in some covered area, it is just about shifting the problem from one area to the other. And there's no need for this. As I've been saying, the authority, we have been trying to appeal to persons to use the service. You have already paid for the collection service. For example, when you purchase a stove or refrigerator, when you pay the environmental levy on these items, you would have paid for its free collection service. The collection service is offered privately to every householder, meaning that you call and you make an appointment for the item to be collected, and you are given an appointment date. The date given, it's the day you're required to place it out in the morning. You get some helping hands if you're alone at home. Lift it, place it on the roadside in front of your home, and it would be collected and safely disposed of at the authorized disposal site. The only place for the disposal of these items is at Perseverance in Grenada or Dumfries in Carriacou. Anywhere else is an illegal operation. And if you're caught in the act, you are subject to the legislation dealing with illegal waste disposal, improper disposal, and the fines can be very hefty. And it depends on where you dispose of. For example, if you dispose in the Granitang area, which is a protected area, the fines can be very heavy, right? You put it outside a bin, you can also be charged, because these items, they should not be placed in the bin or around the bin. And anything that is disposed outside of a bin is an illegal form of disposal. There are only 3 means by which you can dispose of waste based on the Waste Management Act. And they are, you give it to an authorized waste handler, right? You hand it over to that person, or you place it out for your regular garbage collection service, or you take it yourself to the landfill. Any other means is illegal, and you are subject to the law once this happens. So we have been struggling with illegal waste disposal for quite some time, and we believe that we've been doing quite a lot of talking. We're now trying to reach out to residents to make use of the service, and we would use the support of the enforcement arm, which is the Environmental Health Department of the Ministry of Health, or the police, to address any such issues that we discover in communities. Mr. Boyke would speak to how we plan to monitor going forward in terms of our electronic system. I think he has more details on this than I do. Mr. Boyke.
Right, so recently the authority has invested heavily in its monitoring and surveillance systems with the recent purchase of a drone and also hunter cameras. As you said, Blossom, illegal dumping is a challenge. Illegal waste disposal is a challenge. So we are now moving into monitoring hotspots around Grenada. We have these cameras that they work with GPS. They take pictures. We get the pictures, and then we'll be sending these to the enforcement arm, which is the Environmental Health Department and the Royal Grenada Police Force. And persons who are found in the act of illegal dumping, indiscriminate waste disposal, they will be prosecuted.
Prior to the implementation of this system, do you know of anyone that has been arrested and or charged for illegal disposal of specifically white goods and other indiscriminate dumping, as a matter of fact?
Yes, there have been persons who have been taken to court. There are lots of times where persons are asked to remove the items. We find out through the Environmental Health Department and the Royal Grenada Police Force, they do their investigations, and then they take the matter to court, or they simply ask the person to remove the item. So there have been instances where persons were taken to court, and instances where persons were just asked to remove the items and have it properly disposed of, or safely disposed of at the landfill facilities.
All right. There's a comment on Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, everything Ms. Julian is saying is true, But you also need to factor in the unreliable operations of some contractors. Whenever you try to contact them for white goods removal, either those goods remain out for weeks, sometimes months, or they say they don't have time, which was a personal experience. So Solid Waste should investigate their contractors, not all as well. Is this a complaint that you have heard, and any avenues to address the issue?
Okay, this has been a concern of the authority for quite some time. And as I stated, recently we have done some revamping of our operations. We've had some changes in terms of our contractors, and we have done a bit of rezoning of our collection zones in Grenada. And this, we believe, would bring greater efficiency, and we have seen it has brought greater efficiency to our operations in recent months. We have signed on to new contracts as of the 1st of February this year, and we've had new contractors on board. Yes, we have had these concerns in recent years, and we believe that what we have done in terms of the segmenting of our collection zones would bring greater efficiency to the collection service. We have not had these concerns recently, well, of that magnitude recently, but as you would appreciate, our contractors are currently getting settled into the provision of services, and we do expect that within the 6-month period, they would have all of the required equipment for the collection of the regular waste and also white goods and bulky items. But as it is right now, we can say that we are satisfied to a great extent with the improvements that we have seen in the collection service. And we know that there have been some challenges, especially in the South, where there's you always have a huge backlog of white goods being placed around bins, etc. And we are hoping that through this, we know that there are communities where people are holding on quite a lot. And we are hoping that through this operation, we would free up a number of our householders because of the commitment we've gotten from our contractors to be a part of this drive, to free up our communities and ensure that the backlogs that people keep around their homes would be eased up, if I should say that way, and that going forward, the concerns that we would have as it relates to you not getting into the collection for your designated day, or you had an appointment and the appointment was not adhered to on the part of the contractor. We are hoping that all of these, with all of the efforts that we are putting in place, would bring a greater level of efficiency to our operations. We are satisfied that we're having good compliance in some communities, in some collection zones, and we need to beef up in some other areas. But we believe that after the 6-month period of I wouldn't say probation, but the 6-month period that our contractors have been given to get their services in operation in full force, get the required equipment, the new trucks, etc., that we would have an even better service offered to the people of Grenada.
And let me ask this WhatsApp question. Somebody asks, I would like to know when the issue of illegal dumping in River Road will be taken seriously. Reports have been made, pictures and videos sent. I believe one of the solid waste officers came and assessed it way back in 2019, and now we're in 2020. Nothing has been done except giving us empty promises. Businesses and non-residential people are dumping their garbage in a community bin, and people are coming from all over and dumping their lumber by the river bank, which ends up in the river. It's a hazard, health risk, and an eyesore. Any update for this resident?
Okay, so just to give an update on this, the assessment of the 3 bins in River Road This was done in March of this year, right? That's an assessment that I'm aware of. Now, the assessment showed, based on the results coming back from the survey which was done, we must survey the communities to determine whether the residents are in support of the presence of the units there, or they're not in support of the units there before a recommendation is made to the Ministry of Health to have the units removed. Now, coming out of the surveys which were done, and this was done by the authority in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, the 2 units, and that would be the one opposite Steele's Motor Garage, and the other one, which is opposite the entrance to City Sounds FM. These are the ones that are really badly affected by persons coming from outside of the community to dispose of waste, and also members of the commercial sector using it for the disposal of large amounts of commercial waste. Now, the results coming back showed that the residents are in support of the removal of these 2 units. However, the residents on the steps that is closest to the one near to the City Sounds bin, if I should say it that way, we had concerns as to what would they use if this is removed, because our trucks cannot go up there. And there are quite a lot of residents at the top there. So we made the recommendations to the Ministry of Health. The 3 units were surveyed, the one near to the post office also. And the 2 closest to, the one besides the one near to the post office, the residents voted for the removal. The one near to the post office, there was a unanimous decision to keep that one for the sake of the residents of the stairs. So that recommendation has been sent to the Ministry of Health for their review. The feedback from the Ministry of Health is that they need to go in themselves to see what would be the alternatives in terms of how the residents at the back, that is off the main road, would dispose of their waste. And following the Ministry of Health's assessment, we would move to either have the bins demolished and the areas designated as no dumping sites in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, or the bins would have to stay, and this is now up to whoever who is responsible for enforcement, and that is the Ministry of Health.
All right, Mr. Boyke, Ms. Julian, thank you both so very much. Just the basic details again, a reminder quickly of what's taking place this week.
Okay, so the island-wide cleanup, it takes place from Thursday the 22nd to Saturday the 24th. But beginning all today, we are encouraging householders to look around their properties and start to gather the items. Have the items out on Thursday and Friday, and we will be out with our collection teams on Saturday to pick these items up.
Somebody on Facebook asks, if they have more than 3 items, what do they do?
Okay, for this cleanup, we are saying to place all the items out. Okay. But moving forward, we are looking for compliance with the once per month collection service, and you're limited to 3 items once per month moving forward. So just for this island-wide cleanup, look around properties, all the old items that you have to get rid of. You place them out on the Thursday and the Friday only. Remember, be aware of pedestrians, be aware of motorists, of the driving public. Have these items out on the Thursday and the Friday, and we collect them on Saturday.
Lovely. Thank you both so very much for being our guests this morning. Appreciate it, and I'm hoping everybody would comply as well and do what needs to do to keep Grenada clean and pretty. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blossom.
Have a good day. Public Relations Officer of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Myrna Julian, and the Assistant PRO, Nickoli Boyke. We thank them both. The cleanup takes place this week, so remember, clean up your areas. Put out the white goods. If you have more than 3, it's fine. It will be accommodated just for this period. You put them out Thursday and Friday, and the collection day is on Saturday, God willing. Now let's take a very quick break, and then when we come back, we link up with Just School Media for this morning's Traffic Cam.
Imagine having the home of your dreams. Imagine
Imagine investing in that piece of property you can call your own. Imagine finally doing that home improvement project you've always been thinking about. It's time to stop imagining and start doing. Let the GUT Credit Union help you take the first step with fantastic rates, affordable repayments, and reduced legal fees. Make the move. Get better terms on your mortgage. Use your home equity to make those dreams a reality. Act now. There's really no place like home. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Bruv.
Hello? I can't see you.
What's good?
But I can't even hear you.
Yo.
Hello? Hello? Ah.
Okay, I see you. I'm good. I'm coming in.
Ah. There you are.
Live the experience right now. Enjoy high-quality video calling today. Stream, upload, and share with Digicel super fast LTE network. Visit our stores today and live the experience today.
It's now time for us to join Just School Media for this morning's traffic cam, and he's in Big Parish, St. Andrew.
When the condition is dry, also a different mindset, and it's good for a driver to know his vehicle. If you're renting or if you're borrowing a vehicle from someone, get to know the vehicle first. Drive slowly, check the brakes, and make sure that will avoid you losing control or getting into unnecessary accidents. Know your vehicle as a driver. Know what sounds normal, what sounds abnormal, so you can be always proactive. Yes, safety first. So we are heading back down on the eastern side. When it's raining and overcast like this, I take the safest route to St. George. I avoid passing over the hills because also the road is wet and also sometimes there is mist in the air. So sometimes as a driver, you see the weather condition and you try to take the safest route. Although it may be a bit longer, but I prefer to pass down on the eastern side, especially when it's raining over the granite tank. It's easier driving. So you want to encourage safe driving on our nation's road. Now we are in Subies. We are heading back down to St. George. Those of you just joined, we did our traffic cam in Paradise, just around the location where they had the fatal accident on yesterday morning, and the driver succumbed to his injury at the Princess Alice Hospital. May his soul rest in peace, and our condolences to his family. as a fellow driver, I feel it for him. And there's not much traffic in this area, in Subies. The smooth flow of traffic, easy driving. Drivers, is a wet day, especially in the St. Andrews area. If at your location the road is wet, please exercise caution on the road. And young men with their vehicles well souped up and ready. Yesterday there was an accident in Granbra, and it's because two vehicles were racing. Want to see who was faster, and then one lose control, crashed into two other vehicles. So there's no need to race. There's no need to see who's the fastest driver. There's no need for that. If you want to see the fastest driver, not on the nation's road. You can try out your vehicles on the poles, airstrip, after you get permission from the traffic department. Other than that, racing on the nation's road is illegal.
We thank Just Cool Media for this morning's traffic cam in the big parish. Good morning, St. Andrew. Bless up your whole selves. It's a rainy Monday for you in the big parish. I just went outside to peep outside to see if rain falling, and I wasn't aware, but St. George seemed to be dry. At least where I am for the moment is dry, so the rain kind of catch me off guard in the big parish. Stay dry, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in to Good Morning Grenada. We now get ready to join the BBC for its 8 a.m. newscast. Thank you so very much. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.